Sweet with a Bitter Aftertaste. A review of Love of Nirvana 流水迢迢 by PeachBlossomGoddess. Love of Nirvana or The Flowing Water 流水迢迢 is a deep, dark, intricate and impactful drama about politics, revenge, love and freedom. The plot and characters are three-dimensional and the love story unfolds within the complex dynamics of multiple conspiracies and an uneven battle for justice and freedom. Jiangzi is a free-spirited country girl seeking adventure in the Liang capital for the first time. She climbs the wrong tree at the wrong time to watch peace talks between the Liang and Wei states and inadvertently foils a dangerous, high-stakes mission. Stabbed and then hunted down by a masked intruder who believes she may be able to identify him, she is rescued by the ambitious Marquis Pei Yan. He uses her as bait to lure and capture the masked prowler. Thus a clever and free-spirited country girl becomes the pawn of two ruthless men and becomes embroiled in a diabolical conspiracy that oppressed and enslaved the Yueluo people. All of the characters in this story, including the almighty emperor, get to choose their own destiny but not their fate. Like the flowing water that may be momentarily grasped or diverted, fate is ultimately elusive and flows where it will. This is one of those dramas where the storytelling respects audience intelligence and perceptiveness. There is very little spoon-feeding or over-explanation. We are expected to read the subtext and form our own impressions of what the characters are going through. At the start, I was rooting for Jiangzi to skin Wei Zhao alive and flaunt his fur like a trophy for the way he treated her. And then with a growing sense of unease that turned into horror, I started to observe the plight of the Yueluo people and the scale of the collective punishment that was being visited upon them. At that point, the narrative angle shifts from Jiangzi to Wei Zhao, and like Jiangzi, we see his devastating sense of isolation and helplessness, that he alone bears burden of his father's villainy. Jiangxi's inadvertent and continued meddling had life and death consequences for his men and his cause. Of course he had to deal harshly with her. Jiangzi doesn't just fall in love with a man, she falls in love with a place and a people who are slowly but surely being erased by Liang's genocidal policies. Their evolution from enemies to lovers is gradual, natural and convincing. All of the main roles are well portrayed, with the actors conveying multiple layers to their characters via their facial expressions and gestures that goes beyond the dialogue. Ren Jialun is not that versatile an actor, but Wei Zhao is the kind of complex, man of few words role that he excels at. With a flicker of an eye, a small frown or a dark glare, he can exude emotions from frustration and anger to sorrow and dismay. The way he regards Jiangzi changes from rage and hatred to grudging respect and empathy to this actor's signature bottomless longing. Wei Zhao never dares speaks of the future, it is Jiangzi who simply refuses to let him pull away. He understands she is a free spirit and his selfless instinct is to set her free, in sharp contrast with Pei Yan's selfish obsessiveness and his repeated attempts to cage her. Li Landi's Jiangzi steps up to the plate to more than meet Wei Zhao halfway. I love how she so unabashedly gushes over how handsome he is and freely expresses her affection for him. Even though the noble Pei Yan has arguably more to offer, she chooses Wei Zhao unconditionally each time. Their sweet loving lies, their body language and the dialogue within their dialogue made me tear up many times. No one has an upper hand in this story because characters are too clever and adept at preempting one another. Xu Zhengxi delivers a evocative portrayal of the brilliant, ambitious, manipulative and controlling Pei Yan. If this role is to be his swan song, it is one that leaves an impression. His ambition and obsessiveness are amplified and exceeded by his mother, the domineering Madame Rongguo, another riveting depiction by the super-talented Wen Zhengrong. Unfortunately, all of these fantastic characters are dealt a huge disservice in the penultimate arc, where we meet Shifu, the only truly stupid and pointless character in this story. All of hitherto smart characters are dumbed down by 1 or 2 notches for an unnecessary court power struggle arc and melodrama. Madame Rongguo overplayed her hand and Pei Yan's selfishness had irreversible consequences. Only the wise and constant Cui Liang's character survived that arc that was clearly written by an amateur. The narrative comes together again for a triumphant, exciting and moving final arc. Fate is blind and the taste of freedom is sweet with a bitter aftertaste. Nobody gets everything that they want, but the greater good is achieved at great cost. However, not all the individual outcomes were inevitable and the ending itself could have been more tightly written. It appeared as if they were on the verge of a different, more satisfying ending but didn't have the courage to go there. I will elaborate further on that in a spoiler below. All things considered, this is still one of the better, more memorable period costume dramas this year with a complex and moving plot and outstanding acting. Despite the flaws, it is a story that has enough depth that I am compelled to rate this generously a 8.5 out of 10. Ending spoiler. My biggest problem with the ending is that Wei Zhao chose to stay when he could have escaped and left the hairpin behind as evidence that Wei Zhao died and returned to Jiangci as Xiao Wuxia. It is clear from the ending footage that they toyed with a traitorous official. Wei Zhao is dead. Long live Xiao Wuxia ending, but decided to stay true to the novel. I would have been fine with that if they just blew up the whole thing and didn't give him a choice. His choice is out of character and a betrayal of Jiangci. It also made no sense since it was never revealed that Wei Zhao is Xiao Wuxia, and thus his actions should not implicate the Yueluo people. It was just dumb and unnecessary noble idiocy. Even though it is a happy ending for Yueluo, it is simply too distressing an outcome for both Xiao Wuxia and Jiangci, who deserve better. It would have been just as fitting and much more satisfying for Wei Zhao to be remembered in infamy while Xiao Wuxia and Jiangci live wild and free with their son, even if they can never return to Yueluo. That is how I would have ended this story. A smaller point, I hated the Moblin parting scene. Throughout the show the lovers' feelings did not have to be put into words. I wish they kept it that way.